Welcome to Xenonauts 2, a new early access game which, if you're not familiar with, is the spiritual successor to the original Xcom game in the 1990s. The game takes place in the distant past, in the year 2009. The Cold War is still going strong, but something strange is happening. People are spotting strange objects in the sky, mysterious life forms are seen in the shadows, and when people get too close to figuring out what they are, they disappear. An alien presence is growing stronger and bolder on Earth, and the Xenonauts have to stop it. An international team of people must work together despite their differences to overcome this alien threat. While humanity is completely outmatched, with time, ingenuity, and a lot of faith, you can give those aliens a welcome they will never forget. Despite wanting to take over the Earth and being willing to commit many war crimes along the way, the aliens are pretty chivalrous because they will defy all military logic to give you a fighting chance by sending their lesser troops first so you can build yourself up. You can improve humanity's odds by scavenging exotic resources from their ships and examining their technology to reverse engineer weapons, but don't take their kindness as weakness because if you don't start shaping up, they will knock you out with better and stronger aliens. I'll start with the bigger picture, the strategic layer of the game. Like America and Vietnam, you can win nearly every engagement and still lose. But unlike America in the 60s and 70s, you can actually have a plan to win. Earth is divided into 6 regions and you need to manage the panic in each of these. If it gets too high, you lose the region, and if you lose 2 regions, you lose the game. The panic in a region affects how much money they give you at the end of every month, so try to do a good job. This money is very important for building up your bases and building other expensive items. Bases are important because this is where the magic happens. Your men, aircraft, and radar are here, along with all your research and production. Build up your bases to support the war effort, but remember to make sure you have stuff to defend your bases like turrets and a garrison of soldiers, because if you don't, aliens will come around and just destroy millions of dollars of equipment for free. The aliens will constantly be sending ships over Earth to cause chaos, and you have to send your own fighters to shoot them down. You need radar in your bases to spot them, and the more radar you have in a base, the larger the range. Unfortunately, Xenonauts does not follow Top Gun philosophy about pilots, and the plane is all that matters. Try to fight alien ships without the proper weapons, and they'll just blast you out of the sky, leaving you to watch helplessly as they cause panic around the world while your fighters slowly rebuild. Make sure you're keeping around a lot of scientists because you need to constantly research better weapons and armor. As you fight the aliens, you'll learn more about the different types through dissecting, but capturing them alive, unsurprisingly, gives you more information. Over time, you'll adopt more alien weaponry, and once formidable opponents will just feel like cannon fodder to you. Since this is an early access game, the tech tree isn't fully finished, and not all the aliens along with their equipment are in, and you'll likely be done seeing everything around 6 months in-game. Still, that doesn't mean you're done with the campaign and you can fight a final mission, so I'd say a full campaign would take around 20 hours depending on how fast you play. The first thing to do in a campaign is establish your base. You need to put it in an important central spot where you'll be able to catch a lot of passing UFO activity. Soon you will get a mission to address an alien incursion and send a squad to respond to it. You really don't have much to fight the aliens with, but this is all you got. So on my first mission, I was just moving my guys out from spawn and one of them nearly gets one-tapped by an alien. Even on normal difficulty, this game will beat you up. Modern games have taught me that normal difficulty is supposed to feel casual and you don't have to take the game too seriously, but not here. This game acts like an Asian parent. If you aren't playing to win, you're gonna get spanked. But how are you supposed to do good? Well, let's talk about the people who matter most, your soldiers, since they'll be fighting your battles for you. Soldiers start with a random set of stats for skills that should determine how you equip them when recruited. All of these can be increased through completing missions. The skills are pretty simple to understand: HP, your health, if you get hit too much, you die. TU is your time units, which determine how much you can do in a single turn. Unsurprisingly, being able to do more actions than your enemy in battle is pretty useful. Accuracy makes it easier to hit things from farther away. Give lower accuracy soldiers shotguns since they're gonna have to get close anyways, and higher accuracy soldiers snipers. Strength determines how much your character can carry, how far they throw grenades, and how well they can manage recoil on automatic firing weapons. Reflexes determine when Overwatch fire triggers. High reflex units will be able to slip by an enemy's line of sight without triggering Overwatch fire. And bravery determines how well a soldier can resist alien psychic attacks, as well as keep calm in battle without panicking. It's good to have your team split up into different roles to handle different challenges while you're on a mission. Assault roles are there for your close quarters fights with their shotguns. Riflemen are good for medium distance engagements. Heavies are good for suppressing enemy positions. Snipers take out those long distance enemies. And you'll never guess what grenadiers do. There's also a shield class that has a lot of potential, but unfortunately the devs neglected to put any upgrades to the shield until you were nearly done with the technology. So the shield is basically like the lazy person in a group project. They are around in the beginning only to disappear off the face of the earth when you're actually doing the hard work, but show up at the end to act like they're part of the team. Once you start a tactical battle, you'll notice that none of your characters are Neo, so you can't dodge bullets, meaning you have to do it the old-fashioned way of hiding behind something that will stop the bullets from hitting you. What I'm saying is always try to end a turn in cover. Yellow cover is partial cover, so enemies will still be able to hit you, but their hit chance is reduced, while green cover completely protects a soldier from an angle. Be warned though, sometimes this cover system is pretty jank. You won't be able to hit an enemy from here, but they can hit you just fine. So try to position your soldiers well, because if you don't, you're gonna regret it really fast. Also, don't forget, if the enemy is using cover in a way you don't like, removing the cover is almost always an option. You're gonna have to take missions slowly if possible. Keep your people close together and looking over each other with enough time units to overwatch. That way, any aliens who try to get aggressive will quickly regret it. Make sure to suppress enemy aliens with flashbang grenades or suppressive fire from LMGs or burst fire from rifles so they can't trigger overwatch fire on you and will have fewer action points to fire when it's their turn. The first thing you research is combat vehicles, and I cannot stress this enough, do not sleep on the Max. It's $250,000 and it will make your life so much easier in missions. So think tactically, and it could be the difference between your mission looking like this and this. Although this is very un-American of me to say, I must tell you to not completely blow up every alien you meet in the field. Although the aliens may deserve to be turned into paste, preserving their bodies by killing them with only gunshots or just knocking them out is important because they can get you a lot of money by selling their bodies. Now, who's paying for these aliens and what are they doing with them? Don't worry about that. Focus on spending that money you got on some fresh gear. Despite all this advice, you're likely gonna suffer just like I did. RNG is the heart of this game, so you're gonna have some really bad luck with shots and feel tempted to save scum. Some bad luck may even question why you're even playing. You may walk ahead thinking things are okay, only to realize you just walk straight into an ambush. Ensure you check your corners because aliens can and will be waiting to pounce. Not even your spawn will be safe. Casualties are expected. Don't feel bad if you're losing 2 or 3 men per mission at the beginning. Recruits are cheap, and if you have a training center at the base, losing veteran soldiers won't be game ending. Casualties are especially expected in missions with time limits since they force you to play risky and aggressive. For example, in the early game, you have to do missions fighting against the Cleaners, which is a human group that are helping the aliens take over the world. Certain anti-cleaner missions will have time limits to accomplish an objective before a bunch of enemies spawn to dogpile on you. Time limits so strict that you basically need meta knowledge of the map to do it right on normal difficulty. I think they're gonna change this later, but I'm just saying, one of these people is a sociopath for letting that go through. For an early access game, I feel Xenonauts 2 isn't a good place for its launch, but looking at its price, it's asking a lot when there is already a cheaper and feature-complete game available. You definitely start to feel the lack of content in the mid to late game as you start seeing samey looking maps. It just takes you out of the game a bit when I deal with an alien attack in Africa and the map just looks like an American suburb. There's not even any black people here, like, what did you guys do to this continent? I just don't get the point of the friendly NPCs at all in this game. I know aliens invading the world would make everyone scared, but I doubt every civilian we'd encounter would be actively suicidal. Well, Some are willing to fight, but still, you have to waste time in many missions watching NPCs with zero self-preservation instinct. I'm out here fighting for humanity's future, but as soon as these people get home, they're just gonna stick a fork in an electrical outlet, so what's the point? I know we're gonna get more alien variety for the later parts of the game, but I also hope that the cleaner faction as well gets more unit types. They can easily be more fleshed out. They only have riflemen, and it'd be more interesting if they had the occasional big guy with a machine gun, or really armored guy with a shotgun that would rush you. It seems that the cleaners are designed as an early game test for the player before they really start fighting the aliens, which is a good idea, but they need to be more interesting to fight. So to conclude, for an early access launch, the game is in a really good place to become something amazing. However, the game is asking a lot of money right now for content that is really only worth it for die-hard fans at this point. Over time, as they add new content to have more varied enemy types, tactical battle maps, and equipment, I could see this game being a very entertaining one to play. There is a sale ongoing for the launch of the game, but don't feel too bad if you miss out on it. I'm sure it'll go on sale again when it fully launches. And obviously, games like this have plenty of replayability, so even if you pay the full $40, you can get your money's worth if you enjoy this type of game. Also, a quick announcement, I've decided to start a Patreon. It's kinda basic at the moment, but I want to be able to deliver more and better content to y'all, so if you want to, I'd appreciate any support you can give. Hope you guys enjoyed this video though, I really did like trying to do something a bit different here. Anyways, like the video so if you enjoyed, others can see it, and subscribe for good content in your future, and hope to see you all another day.